Our next guest was surfing recently off New Smyrna Beach in Florida when he felt something chomp down on his forearm. He says it felt like being in a bear trap or like having a bolt of electricity go through your body. Dazed and bleeding, he was able to get to shore and he was rushed to a hospital. That man, Matthew Bender, joining me now. Matthew, first I want to say I'm so glad you're okay. How are you feeling tonight?
Thank you, Elizabeth. Feeling so blessed to have my life, my arm, the use of my hand, potentially a full recovery. Right now, I don't have any feeling in the back of my hand from nerve damage, but that has been repaired, and within 18 months, possibly it'll all come back. So it could be totally inconsequential aside from some scars. I just feel super grateful. Thank you, Lord.
Can you tell me what happened step by step that day?
I can, because not to contradict your report, but I did maintain a clear state of mind, which was such a blessing, because when I was 18, I remember at the gym during high school gym class, I cut my knee on a weight, and it was only like a couple stitches cut, but the blood would make me kind of woozy, lightheaded. And so you can't afford to have that happen out there. And I'm just so happy that I was able to make it into the beach and maintain, like, I answered all their cognitive questions clearly, and they laughed. And they said, "Where are you?" I said, New Smyrna Beach, the shark bite capital of the world. They said, "This guy's with it. He's okay."
How far?
But anyway.
Yeah, go on, please.
So it was a normal day. Actually a less sharky day than normal. We're used to the sharks in New Smyrna, and I've surfed out there for nearly 30 years. And so I'm used to encountering them. I had one knock me off my board when I was about 20. I had one in the barrel, the little tube, the crest of the wave, ahead of me on my board, which is, I thought, wow, that's a Shark Week clip right there, but never ended up sending it to TV, National Geographic, I guess it is. Anyway, it didn't seem like a sharky day. And when I paddled out, the waves looked pretty fun. I said a prayer, said, "Please keep me safe, Lord, and let me glorify your name." Well, he did keep me safe overall, and I feel like through this whole thing, he is being glorified, because it's just a miracle that I don't have any pain in my arm. Anyway, I paddle out. I only caught a couple of waves, and after the second wave or third wave, I was paddling back out, and I just pushed the board underwater by the rails of the board, by the edges of it, to go under a little bit of a whitewash, a small, an inconsequential wave. I was actually wearing like a surf hat, so I don't want the bill to push down. And so I pushed the board under the water, and I kept my head above water. And as I did that, boom, just it bit me very hard and forcefully. It shook its head. And then by the time I looked down, it was gone, and all I saw was red. And I knew I'd been bitten by a shark even before I looked down. And I knew, I went into business mode, like, got to get back to the beach. I surf big waves, and I love Hawaii, and I've had some injuries. And so I've gotten some practice with, like, keeping your cool and trying to get in. So I turned around and belly boarded or body boarded a wave in on my surfboard. And as I was coming in, I was putting my arm over my head so that the blood would fight gravity to come out my arm, thereby maybe losing less blood. And I was waving, and fortunately, Ava Lavender, who's maybe like a 16-year-old surfer, she's out there all the time, sponsored by Body Glove. She was right there, and she had a leash on her board. Now, I didn't, because being 6'2", a lot of times I don't want one to create more drag and friction to slow you down. So I knew, though, that would be a great tourniquet, because the urethane sticks to itself. And I said, "Help, help." And she and her dad were right there by the shore. Whereas on New Smyrna Beach, you can drive on the beach, and in the distance, the cars were probably 50 yards away. So it was a huge blessing that they were right there. And I was able to, her dad ran, her dad said, "I'm going to call 911. She took the leash calmly off of the tail of her board and gave it over. And by the time she had gotten it off of her board, my friends, Jack Roush and Ruben, ran up, and I said, "Hey, I'm covering, meanwhile, the worst portion of it, which didn't have any skin on it." Oof. They said at first I might need a skin graft. And
amazing.
So I was trying to keep the arteries from gushing, and they put the tourniquet over the bottom of the cut where I instructed them, and pulled it tight, and that really did stop the bleeding. So just a tip for anybody: good to wear a leash, not like me.
Cool, that's a good tip. And I'm so glad you're okay, Matthew. And it's incredible that you kept your cool. We're so glad you're here tonight to talk with us. I'm not going to forget the story. I'm sure many viewers won't.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.